let's talk about Jill Dando, because Jill Dando's an example of someone that was getting near the truth, I think. She was potentially tapping into a paedophile ring that even went to the heart of the BBC, maybe even higher up, you know. What's your opinion on Jill Dando? What happened there?
I think she made a comment about Cliff Richard as well.
Right.
I think, I'm not sure. But from my memory serves me well, I think she made a comment saying he's not the Christian man everyone thinks he is. So again, and
that's not enough to get a bullet in the head, though, is it? Do you think?
It depends on how right she was. You know, and how. I mean, bear in mind. I mean, you look, Cliff Richard links to the Cray twins.
Did
he? Yeah. He was connected with them. I've heard things about that guy, and again, I can't share it because he sued in the past, and he may well sue again. And considering the coverage you're getting now, I don't think that would be the poignant thing to say.
Yeah.
However, I would say his real name is Harry Webb. Maybe in the archives of crime there might be a Harry Webb with the same date of birth as him that might have convictions. It might be worth checking out. I might be right, might be wrong, but it might be worth looking into. But Jill Dando is interesting because I worked with the senior investigating officer for that. I worked on the same unit for a while, and he used to give a lecture to detectives. And what happened was that 23 ambulances were dispatched to her front garden, right, where she'd been shot. So she'd been shot in her front garden. Again, a well-known celebrity. I'm with you. I think she knew what was going on within this bizarre sort of secret society of the BBC and child abuse. And 23 ambulances turned up, double-crewed ambulances. And not only did they turn up, what they did was that they went to the crime scene. Now, what you've got to understand about a crime scene, it's important it's kept as sterile as possible. So the golden rule of a crime scene is sterility, right? That's why they're cordoning it off, and anyone in and out. And so the crime scene manager they'll have an officer logging in people into the crime scene. They tend to have to wear overshoes.
Yeah, because any little tiny fibre of your clothing can contaminate forensically contaminate the area.
So what you got to look at a crime scene is a field of pure white snow. So in the middle is your victim, maybe a child, right? And you've got to save that child. So someone's put that child there. So there'll be a set of footprints going to the child and away from the child, right? And that's going to be your suspect. Right, so you know that whoever owns them footprints, that's your suspect, right? So you've got to go and save that child. But how are you going to get there? You've got to contaminate that crime scene. You've got to go in there, but you will account for it. So you'll say, those footprints are our suspect, those footprints are mine. So you can tell the judge, jury, and everyone else, this is what it is. So you can then be eliminated from the crime scene. And you hear that saying a lot, we can eliminate them from the crime scene. But bear in mind, if you get a small garden in inner London, it's not like in the counties where you get big gardens. Little garden on a Georgian house, turn of the century house with a small front garden, and you've got 46 people treading in and out of that, plus your suspect, plus your detectives, plus the first on scene, the neighbour. How are you going to manage that crime scene?
Well, so they've muddied the waters basically, haven't they? They've poisoned the well.
That crime scene is totally and utterly devastated.
Yeah.
Was that done on purpose? Well, why send 23 ambulances there for a start? So again, you've got to ask questions. Well, why? And I met that Barry George.
Barry George, yeah. He got acquitted, by the way, didn't he?
Yeah.
So it's obviously he was not convicted.
And I'm going to say something that might not be nice to the guy, but I met him in the Principal Registry Court in Holborn, and he's not the full shilling. He clearly has got educational needs. He looks retarded. When I met him, I thought, wow, and how is this the mastermind of crime? He got acquitted. So this isn't the first time someone with special educational needs has been stitched up with something.